Hi, everyone. Carol here, and it's time for the weekly channel lesson. I know that the lesson this week is going to be about how we need to listen to spirit and what that actually means. Before I begin, though, I do want to send a shout out and a thanks to all of you who sent me private messages letting me know that you appreciated last week's lesson. It was difficult for me to move into that type of space. It's not something that I typically do unless I'm alone and in private. And so the support that many of you sent me was really very appreciated. So I will be doing it that way moving forward. I'm being encouraged to do that. Again, it is a stretch for me, but I hope that it has benefit, that it comes to you as I receive it. So let's get started with this week's lesson. As I begin, I will invite in my spiritual team to share what they have for us today. And so they say, as we move forward, we would like to give gratitude and thanks for all of you who listened last week, and to say hello and to welcome to those of you who are here for this week. We are deeply honored to be able to bring this channel lesson to you through the servant, meaning me, Carol, for each of you to hear and to learn and to hopefully integrate into your own life. Last week, we asked that you consider the notion of asking and understanding how divine timing relates to you directly, not to those of us here in spirit. And so we encourage you to go back and look at that as we move forward with today's lesson. We are going to speak to the nature of what happens after one asks. For when we asked all of you to ask, we also then must ask you to listen. This requires something active on your part. We will give you an example. Listening is actually rather easy. For example, if you are hungry, your stomach will growl and you have listened. You did not hear in terms of words. Someone did not say to you, "We need food." Your body clued you in. This is an example of a very subtle signal that you are capable of picking up on, and then it becomes internalized inside the mind, and you create words which say, "I am hungry," or "I need to eat." In the same way, these subtle signals are what we are asking you to begin to learn to tap into. We could speak to you today about things such as signs and symbols. These are external, and they can become forms of communication where spirit or the divine can reach you and grab your attention. These are especially important in moments and times when you are in emotional turmoil. In these tumultuous spaces, it is very difficult for you to tap into the subtle signals. And this is one of the reasons that we and many teachers on earth talk to you about the form of meditation. It is not to become silent per se, but rather to become aware, to steady the waters. They're showing me like an ocean, and it calming down. You want to become still like the waters so that the subtle signals that are inside of you are those that can clue you in. It's important to understand that when you ask, answers will come in a variety of forms, but also from a variety of sources. Your own inner intuition, from your subconscious mind, from the environment around you, from your relationships from other people, from your higher self, from your soul. All of these are internal sources that really arise from you. And there has been a recent blog post by Carol called Indigenous Experiences, and we channeled this message to her roughly a few weeks ago. And so we are now tying in that blog post and these Indigenous experiences in relationship to today's lesson. So we thank you again for listening and being aware of these messages that are designed for you and come through us. We would like you to take in this notion of what it means to have tumultuous emotions and experiences. Of course, many of you are experiencing this today. The goal for you, however, is to find space, time, and mechanisms that will allow you to calm the tumultuous emotions. This is not to say that you have to resolve them. We in spirit understand if it was easy for you to resolve, the emotions would not exist in the first place. So we are not saying find a solution for solving that which is disturbing you internally, but rather having a mechanism for setting those things aside and stilling the waters. This may involve lighthearted music. This may involve dance or creativity. It may involve a walk in nature or exercise, For each one of you, what calms the waters will be different. When you can calm the emotion, then we in spirit will invite you to sit with yourself, to ask your body what it has to say to you, to ask your heart what it has to say to you, and to pay attention to the thoughts that are going on in your mind, not just the troubles, but also ask yourself, what are the solutions? What do I need to learn? And what do I need to hear or know? All of these are forms of listening that take place at this very subtle and light level that you will not hear if you do not steady your waters. Now, the voice of spirit can also move forward. And in the beginning, many people become stuck on whether or not they are hearing the voice of spirit or whether they are receiving from their own internal guidance or even external sources. In the beginning, we encourage you not to be concerned with the exact source. What we do ask that you be concerned with is that the answers and replies are loving and supportive and guiding. This means that you are following the right resources or sources that are going to move you in the direction to receive that for which you asked. So pay attention to what you asked and then begin to listen to the subtle clues that exist within you. As simple as it is for us in spirit to sit here and to give you this guidance, we understand that the process itself can be slightly confusing. After all, many of you have learned to become very out of touch with yourselves. It has become a very externalized world where we are more interested in paying more attention to the things that are going on in the world around us. We, however, are at odds with the world, and this creates an at odds with ourselves. We have relationships perhaps that are tumultuous or experiences in the past that have been traumas and pains, and we continue to identify with those external experiences. We understand that they disturb you, and we are not negating the fact, for you are in a physical world and you will be connecting with external experiences. But in order to gain the insight that you need, the answers will best arise from internal awareness. Again, signs and symbols can come to you, and these are external, and we are not negating them. But this is about waking people up to the awareness that they need to have. So you have asked based on last week's lesson, and you have focused on something that it is that you wish to know for yourself. And so your part now must be to participate in that process, to listen, to still your waters. And you need to make space for this if you are not capable of doing it in the moment. Once you become trained and better practiced, you will find that this state of awareness is something that you carry with you throughout the day. It is not something that you do only when you sit in space or only when you find the time to be creative or to journal or to pray or to meditate. In time, this will be something that you can do. And they are using me, they are using me as an example now and saying that even though I am aware and in this exact moment, I am also very connected. And so when we connect on a daily basis, we are now allowing this internal guidance system to rule us. So we in spirit are not negating the troubled issues that you have, but it will be for you to find the mechanisms that will help you still the waters. We would likely just like you to consider that for this week. If we move too far forward, you will find yourself frustrated and confused. So for this week's channeled lesson, what is it that stills your waters? Is it meditation? Is it a word? Is it a prayer? Is it spending time again in nature? Some activity or some action that you can take so that you can calm your waters. If you can practice this for 5 minutes, even once a day, this is a beginning. Ideally, we would recommend perhaps taking a 5-minute break every couple of hours and recognizing what it feels like to still the waters, to push everything aside. You will also find that certain areas of your body, mind, or heart will be super active, and you will have a very difficult time silencing those waters. As a result, we would recommend that you switch to the other areas that are not as turbulent. So, for example, if your mind is incredibly active, and they're showing me as an example because I have a very active mind, if it is difficult for you to silence the worries, We ask that you take your awareness and then move it into your heart space. How are you feeling in this moment? What are the emotions? And can you silence those? If your emotions are more dominant, then move to a visualization that perhaps may work. Another great tactic is to move into the body. What is it that the body is feeling in this moment? If you begin by bringing your awareness into your feet, even as you're listening now, you are stopping all thought because your movement and your awareness and your focus is now down into your feet. And as you slowly move up the body with your awareness, doing it gradually, you will find that the heart and the mental waters begin to silence because your focus is no longer on those turbulent waters. This is what we mean by simple practices or exercises that you can begin to silence the waters. And when you do this, you will find that perhaps as you are scanning your body, you will notice that something pops out and stands up for you or stands forward for you, pardon me. And as a result of that, we ask you to just note it. You don't need to stay there and focus and dwell, but just note that you had an awareness in that moment. And as we move forward with further lessons, we can talk more in depth about how you can touch base with these awareness moments. For today and for this week, you have silenced the waters, and that's what we ask you to do for the remainder of the week. So as always, we are deeply humbled in spirit for those who are here and with us and are willing to listen. It gives us great joy to be able to present to you this material. For when you are doing something that you are passionate about and you get to share it with others who enjoy sharing or partaking in what you are sharing, you have a sense of joy and a sense of fulfillment. And we in spirit are no less inspired and joyful by the ability to be able to share tactics, insights, wisdom, and our experiences with you to help you move through the physical life. So thank you for allowing us to be with you, and we will join you again next week for more about the waters and listening to yourself. Thank you, and have a wonderful week. So thanks everybody for tuning in this week. I hope you enjoyed the channeled lesson, and I hope it had some value for you. I stumble a couple of times, and I just thought I would elaborate on that. I am certainly hearing it, but as I hear it, I'm also kind of getting, again, images come in. I have these feelings, I have this sensation, and a lot of it is just what I call claircognizance. It's just a sense of knowing what it is that they want me to say, because they kind of dump a concept into me, and then I basically unpack and I verbalize that. And so I work very diligently in a channeled format to do that as pure as I possibly can. But sometimes I stumble myself on either hearing exactly what they're saying, or I get caught up in the concept or the visual, and so I lose focus a little bit. So that's just a little bit about how I do it and the process, and just to kind of clarify some of the things that went on there. So anyway, thanks guys. I appreciate you again following and joining and listening in, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.